When you think about the development industry, how we grow people and how we grow organizations, it is actually an industry that is pushing $400 billion. And depending upon what source you cite, anywhere from 25 to 33%, a quarter to a third of that $400 billion is spent on leader development and org development. That's a lot. And it's not just the size of the industry, but it's about the effectiveness and about access of that actual spend. And I'm going to read you a couple of quotes. This is according to Fortune and also according to McKinsey. According to a Fortune survey, only 7% of CEOs believe their companies are building effective leaders. And just 10% said that their leadership development initiatives have a clear business impact. And while that was reported in Fortune, McKinsey reports that their research is very, very similar, that 11% of executives found that their organizations were not building effective leaders, and that as they approached their leadership development, it wasn't connected to the goals of the business. That I often say, Vid, and you've heard me say this, is I don't know too many industries that can get away with that type of performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Reg, and I think it's a relevant and a very, very needed conversation, right? You talked about creating community, not just to talk about the popular stuff, right? So here we go. We want to get in there. We want to kind of lift those rocks and start kind of having this conversation, because as an industry, you're absolutely right. I think we've gotten away with not being able to actually connect what we spend, right, to the access that the leaders have and to the effectiveness of the access that the leaders have, right? So I think it's really multiple layers, if you may, and it's time we started having the conversation, and I'm just so excited that we're going.
But here's the thing. We've been inside of the leadership development industry. Those actions have been in front of us over and over and over again, right? People keep telling us, do this, do this, do this. And I think that one of the things that we have to do, and it starts to connect everyone on the call today to our purpose in gathering, in that don't just start with the same old action, because if you do, you're going to get caught up in that same spin cycle. And our point of view is that before you start acting and following those to-do lists, do three things. Before the action, start to think about how leadership development can provide value inside of whatever business you're in. Number two, before you build value, start to think about the mindsets that you currently have about leadership development and whether or not those actually might need to be shifted. And number three, before you start to think about shifting those mindsets, start to think about a community that can help you to think about, what's new now next, and where leadership development is actually going in a breakthrough, game-changing kind of way.